And just a quick overview today, I know that the session description mentioned both Facebook and Instagram, organic and paid. Today, we're going to be focusing, actually, since we only have 30 minutes, we're going to focus primarily today on Instagram organic best practices. Andre here, who is my colleague, will be moderating the session tomorrow on paid best practices. So again, apologies for the quick modification, but today will be Instagram specific, organic, and tomorrow will be paid on our platforms. And I can see our colleague Stephanie, who's on our Facebook sustainability team, has also joined us. She's on our water team. So happy that you could be here. Okay, looks like we're getting to about 20 folks. I think we had a few more people signed on. Thank you for being so prompt. Just give it another minute or two. Okay. Great. While people are coming in, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can jump right into things. Can folks see okay?
Looks good.
Wonderful. Okay, so I can't see how many people are in our room now, but since we are, again, like I mentioned, a bit short on time and we want to get through everything, because I do have about 40 slides, and hopefully you find them quite interesting. So again, like I mentioned, hi, my name is Sharon Yang. I'm joined by my colleague Andre and Stephanie. Today we will be focusing on Instagram, best practices, organic. And I'll introduce Andre, who will talk about tomorrow.
Thank you, Sharon. So I'm Andre. I'm based in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm with the Facebook government and nonprofit team. And I'm going to talk tomorrow for 30 minutes about tips and tricks when it comes to paid campaigns, boosting stuff, reaching people with advertisements. So I'm looking forward to that session. And back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Andre. Okay. So, hi again. Sharon Yang here. I'm on a team that is a sister team to Andre's team, and I focus primarily on politics, government, and advocacy partners. And what does that actually mean? So that means I'm here to help advocacy groups, political figures, elections, international and national government organizations optimize their Facebook and Instagram presences. And it's amazing to be working with people like yourselves who are going out there with a huge task of communicating your message. But so very happy to know that you guys are all interested in how to utilize Instagram, a great canvas like Instagram, to tell your story. I've been to Stockholm during World Water Week, and a couple of years ago, we actually had a pavilion where we hosted these best practices trainings. Hopefully next year, we'll be able to do that again. So today on our presentation, my presentation will look a little something like this. We'll start by talking about some of the principles of storytelling on Instagram, how you want to represent yourself, and then some universal principles that you want to keep top of mind as you develop your accounts and your presence online. Then I'll speak about where on Instagram you should do it: feed, stories, live, reels, guides. And then we'll talk a little bit about what's new on Instagram, some interesting developments lately when it comes to insights and reels. And then, so we only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to jump right into storytelling on Instagram. So what we want you to think about, what I want you to think about, is how to showcase the passion behind your narrative, your positions, and the personality behind your Instagram profile, even if you are an entity like an NGO. As I mentioned, I work with government entities like UN, UNEP, UNFCCC, IPCC, and also a lot of niche NGO accounts as well. And for a lot of these presentations, I like to use, and again, Like there's a lot of great content out there, but I wanted to start with showcasing one that I think is a great example of you doing a lot with a very little. And that is the example of the Scottish Parliament. And this is very representative of a lot of smaller accounts as well. They're an account that managed to do a lot with a small follower base and a relatively small mandate. So people often ask, I run an account about a bridge, or I'm a team of one. How do I make things exciting? But the answer is quite simple. It's whether or not, whether you're managing somebody for a public profile or a public figure that's very high profile, or an IGO or a small legislative body, in the case of the Scottish Parliament, or even your own personal account, focusing on speaking with consistent, genuine, authentic voice, no matter what your subject is key. So letting people see the human side of whatever it is that you're posting about is really key. So I wanted to share this because this is some research that Instagram did specifically into why people follow creators. And as you know, creators use Instagram in a lot of ways for their careers. And it turns out there are 4 main reasons why people follow an account. They want to be entertained, they want information, they want to be educated, and they want to be inspired. So in summary, people come for the interests, but really stay for the personality. So they click that follow button, they get introduced to different aspects of your life, your mission, the story of your NGO. Then they get a sense of your personality, and then some of your perspective, and they really start attaching themselves to your content, and that's when they start engaging and liking. So when you got your profile, and I'm assuming if you're in this session that a lot of you guys do have a profile or an Instagram presence already, and you have your focus and hopefully some repeatable ideas and themes, you can put it all together. And then of course comes the magical question. Well, how do I get new followers and how do I keep them engaged? And the 2 and 2 go hand in hand. So, and here's how. So to keep the followers you have, you want to use interactive tools. You want to do regular Q&As. You want to go live. You want to create franchises. What does that mean? You want to start doing very serial content. You want to, of course, check analytics and responding to comments as well. And and check your comments. To get new followers, you want to collaborate with people in your space. You want to create shareable content. Sorry, there's a minor typo there. You want to create shareable content. You want to use surfaces to reach non-followers like live rooms. And you want to, again, check your analytics by shares. And this really just fuels each other. So that is a way of creating a voice, creating a narrative, showcasing a personality, and how you really engage with somebody to storytell on our platform. I know that was very quick, but I'll keep trucking along. To next, we're going to be talking about surfaces of Instagram. And I'll start with probably the most obvious that you guys see all the time, which is feed, story, or the most familiar with. And it's really important to use all these surfaces of Instagram for maximum reach and to help bring all the pieces together to create a coherent story. So feed is for your highlights and for your quote unquote brand. Stories is for an authentic view of your everyday life and for building an interactive connection with your audience. Live is the best way to interact with your followers in real time. We'll talk about guides. Guides is a new product, and it's a good way to showcase an important place or a concept. Guides is a really good platform for rounding things up or showcasing policies. And of course, by now you guys know Reels for short videos that entertain. So this is a range of formats, meaning you have multiple mediums for expressing yourself and getting creative on our platform. And the best part is that they are all interconnected. Think of them as, 5 fingers in the same fist. So it's really easy to cross-promote your work and to make sure your content is seen. So let's dive into feed and interesting content in feed. There's a lot of ways to do it. So long as you're, again, speaking in a voice that is consistent, clear, authentic. You could be, for instance, on the very left, you'll see the Czech National Police jumping in on a trend that went viral with first responders, which entailed them taking all the contents out of their car and posing in this way and showing all their content. So again, this was quite a popular trend that we saw last year or the year before that was all first responders. The middle is the TSA account. And as many, I'm sure this is, again, folks who are familiar with the TSA and who are not, but please, if you haven't, they are a great example of a government account that does fantastic work. The TSA stands for the Transportation Safety Administration in the US. And their account is a really fascinating way of how you can turn an account that should be super boring about airport security and making it magic. I mean, they literally are the agency that monitors airport security, that hold you up, that you get frustrated with. They search you, they search your suitcases and so on, but their account has recently passed 1 million followers. Why? The magic is in their voice and the voice they use and being consistent in their branding. They showcase the contraband they find in people's luggage and the dogs that work at the airports. It's fun content, but it's also it's also in their very plain spoken conversational captions that makes them so successful. So I would highly encourage you to check them out. And then on the very right, another account I really enjoy showcasing is, again, the Ministry of Transport for the Canadian province of British Columbia. Super niche. They do the little things of government communications very well on Instagram. Their mission is explicit and stated in their bio to inform people about what's going on BC's highways. And they never waver from that mission. They never adopt the tone of government or a press release. Everything they do is optimized for a visual medium of social media. So I don't know, I think this video played, just wanted to make sure. If it didn't, did it play? If it didn't play, you would see here that a truck was moving. I apologize if the video did not play, but we'll move on and start talking about stories and stories tools. This is probably arguably the most powerful section of our app, the story stickers tray. And let me tell you, stickers are just there to add, they aren't just there to add like fun animation onto the pictures of a loaf of bread that you just baked. They're extremely useful tools. They help you get your account discovered and grow your following. They help you create conversation and connection with your audience. You can create a sense of interactivity with your content. And stories is not a bulletin board. It's a story and a conversation. So I'm putting the sticker tray up here as a reminder because it happens to even the best of us who use this platform all the time. You've been working in social media, you've been using you use it on a daily basis and you think, oh, I know what all the stickers are. But always remember that the stickers are constantly changing. New ones that you might not have heard about will appear in your tray. Like make sure you're testing them out, tap on them to change the color or the orientation of some of these stickers. And again, the classics, location, mention, hashtag, never forget how important those are for getting your account discovered, for showcasing your involvement in the community, for tagging like-minded accounts, fellow NGOs, politicians, leaders, or everyday colleagues, everyday supporters you meet along the way. So wanted to give you a few examples of how stories are being used when it comes to Instagram content strategy. Again, I will say this over and over again, but they are crucial in creating that connection with your audience, both emotionally and algorithmically. The more people interact with and connect with you, the deeper the connection you bring. It's important to give your audience something to do, as we say. So instead of passively consuming your content, give them and use stickers that ask them questions, share your perspective. So the example on the very left is the question sticker. It's probably one of my favorite stickers for engaging with an audience. It's a great way to interact directly with your fans, go behind the scenes a little, show the very human side of you. You can respond to people's questions with videos. You can respond with text and photos like Michaela Loach has here. You can even kick it up a notch and respond while live. What I like about this sticker is that the questions come in privately and you can choose which one you want to answer. So if you don't know who Michaela Loach is, she's based in the UK and she's a young climate activist. And here she used the question sticker about asking her followers, what is the worst greenwashing you've seen? And people respond like it's everywhere, I don't know where to start. And then she even uses the text tool to write in comments. The middle is what we call the quiz sticker, and it's a fun way to communicate raw information if you'd like to put in front of your followers. This is I believe one of my friends, Marina Testino, and it again involves getting them gamifying the process of education. And then lastly, the poll sticker is another way of having fun. Even if you're talking about climate, this is an example from UNEP. If you're talking about things that aren't always easy to talk about or heavy, that doesn't mean that it can't be interactive and it can't be fun. So going back to Scottish Parliament, because they do a really good job of telling a story that engages people on stories. They start with a beginning, middle, and end. It sounds very basic, but you will be surprised at how many people don't bookend a story. It's called stories for a reason. You want to have different chapters in there. You want to cover all your bases. If you're just throwing things out there that are completely unconnected or like lack context, it's very hard to build an interactive experience for your people to create and really engage them. So the first story sets the stage. It creates the curiosity or a little bit of mystery, like something to keep the viewer engaged. The middle slides, which we've gathered here, take people through the content in a light, fun way using tools of Instagram, stickers, tags, and the like. And this format works whatever you're trying to do. Even if all you've got on a given day are pictures or clips of someone giving a speech at a podium, create that beginning, middle, and journey that you can take people on. And as you can see here, sharing people's stories when they tag you is a great practice as well. It's excellent for creating community and making people feel like they're part of your mission. Another example, a very different example of building a story. This is an example from the United States from National Voter Registration Day. And it's from the account When We All Vote, one of the more high profile orgs in this civic get out the vote space. And among the things that they did really well is to make blank templates. This is a super fun and engaging way to get people to participate. You leave blank space or give options for people to play with and circle. You as a user screenshot it, fill it out, and then share it yourself. They also promoted live events in this way. In this case, in the very right, they're using a lockdown countdown sticker. If you don't know about it, people can subscribe to your countdown sticker to get a notification when your event is live. And then all these techniques ladder up to one goal, which is building that algorithmic connection so people see your content sooner in their feeds and hopefully take action. The next topic we'll jump into is probably one of the newer products we've rolled out in the past year, which is Reels. So at the very start, when it comes to the very basics, Reels lets you record and edit 15, 30, or even 1 minute multi-clip videos with audio effects and some really creative tools. Multi-clip, of course, means you assemble different segments of a video that add up to 15, 30 to 60 seconds for your finished product. You can share Reels with your followers on your feed and your stories, and they're even collected in a new tab on the Instagram profile. And so here is an example from UNEP. So sorry, I hope you guys were able to see that. But again, UNEP was able to use stills and lay over text on them and put it against music. And so you can see how even an organization like UNEP is able to access and make reels feel authentic to their own profile, to their own account. So for these, and it's still very much in the early life of Reels, and there's a lot of accounts, organizations still finding their way and posting a variety of different things as they get into the groove of it. Here's an example from WaterAid here. But I think when it comes to NGOs, when it comes to politics, when it comes to government, the formula for Reels isn't much different than how you would find it in social media in general. It's just another platform to master with its own unique features and strengths. But what I think about when I think about how you can use Reels, I think you can use Reels in 4 dynamic ways, which is to explain your positions, celebrate your policies and your success and policy successes, be yourself, play with your strengths without needing to be irreverent or unserious. I mean, it is a very, this is a very niche space and very important space after all. And of course, 4, lead with your interesting visuals. And so we'll show a few examples of how some organizations have been doing that. So Never Thirst Water, showing a really simple way to use the time text to break down a policy position into something that fits Reels really well. Celebrating policy and successes. I feel like that this is something that, again, it's the newsworthiness, breaking news on Reels in a simple way using text and using music is also a very powerful way. This is again Michaela Loach in the UK giving an update on a case going before the UK High Court. And as you can see, I didn't do the whole video here, but it's a direct to camera and she just overlays text of what she's saying. You like summarizing her, instead of using captions, just summarizing the big bullet points in a very visually dynamic way. You want to make sure to play to your strengths, be yourself. No, I mean, no one is expecting ministers, commissioners, your ED to dance in front, like always. But you can keep it really simple and really normal on here. And this is another example of Tori, I believe it's Sue. And again, if you look at her feed, she does a lot of direct to camera work. She speaks very plainly and honestly. And she breaks down a lot of complicated issues or talks to them in Reels. So followers really follow her because they like her Reel talk, they like her direct to camera. And this is a Reels version of that.
What the hell are you talking about? Get my pretty name out of your mouth. We are not the same as it was. Don't talk about me like how you might talk. Top of the world, but your world isn't real. It wasn't ideal. So go have fun. I really couldn't care less, and you can give it my best, but just know I'm not your friend or anything. Stop.
So as you can see, again, quite simple, a singular shot, one video, no multi-cuts in this, but she uses her like a bit of reverence or her direct to camera. She plays on that and uses the text tool to create the same kind of fly-in captions. And then lastly, showcasing interesting visuals. UNEP does a really good job at this as well. This is a visual medium after all. So we don't always have to be telling the most profound story on Reels, but you want to, again, make sure you're engaging the audience in other ways like this. And now I'm going to just quickly jump into live and how this can help you get more interactive with the audience that you have. what we've seen, as you're all very familiar with during COVID, and it's now getting to, it's quite popular because we were for a while, of course, we were on lockdown. We didn't have any way of communicating with each other, and so a lot of people dove into going live, and it's a lovely way to showcase a more intimate chat, especially from public figures, from organizations. It's like, how often do you see like Anthony Fauci's office, or how often do you go into like a NASA's, not like an astronaut's office, or someone who works at NASA's office? So again, it's a great way of connecting with your audience. And what we've introduced that's been different from last year is we had live Q&A, but since COVID, we introduced live rooms. And what is live rooms? Is this. It just allows whoever to start a live, invite up to 3 more people into it. So for a total of 4 people talking. It's really simple. Once you go live, you can tap that camera plus icon at the bottom right to invite more people, and they join you on screen. You don't have to invite all 3 right away. You can have a one-on-one chat, add more. The choice is yours. But you can answer questions like you would on any other normal chat here. You could have a panel conversation in this way. But I will leave you a URL where you can get this full guide on how to at the end of this presentation. One of the last things I want to talk about is a brand new product called Guides. And it's one of the biggest new updates, I would say, in the past few months. And it's think of it as a curated collection of posts that showcase what you want to showcase all at once. So I think one of the most relevant case of Instagram guides here is, for instance, US Interior, who I work with as well, created a hiking guide. And what you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen is basically how to create that guide. And again, at the end of this presentation, I'll leave you with a URL where you can actually download a PDF of a walkthrough of how you do this. But again, think of it as like, if you want people to like the top 5 actions, and you aggregate a guide. So when people go to your Instagram profile, they can have your top 5, a guide of your top 5 actions to prevent XYZ, or to take action on XYZ. It's a really good aggregated way of doing that. And the final thing I'll touch upon is what's new at Instagram. And this is brand new. Obviously, security, integrity of the platform is also very important to us. So I wanted to particularly highlight one of your new privacy features called Limit. And it really limits, it does exactly what it's called. It limits unwanted interactions. So if you feel like you're being harassed with messages or comments, you can actually choose who you limit to hear from. So again, I think of our young audience on our platform, and again, this is a new feature that we've rolled out and prioritized for well-being and for integrity and for security. Again, we have some new products that are related to insights. You can find now account insights based on a date range. Again, this is primarily for creator accounts. So if you are a business or creator, if you are a personal Instagram, you will probably not find this, but if you're running an organization, you should probably be a creator account in which you will find insights. Again, this is something that a lot of our social media managers have asked for, and now it's here. You can pick insights by a date range up to 60 days now. So not just the past 60 days, but a window of your choosing. And so hopefully we look to expand that to longer in the future as well. And then again, we have a lot more people looking for, because of the popularity of Reels and Live, we've understood that people want more insights there as well. So we have rolled them out recently as well. So now you can see you're getting metrics for a bunch of new dimensions, not just your feed. Our reach insights have improved as well. Now you can see reach over selected time periods based on people who follow you and who don't. And we've included live and Reels into our breakdown of reach numbers. So you can get a quick overview of how each type of content is performing. So I strongly encourage you, if you're a social media manager running comms for an organization, to get into your insights, tap through them, and really get an understanding of how your content is doing. Again, this is, another development that I think is quite important is Hidden Words is live. This allows you to hide certain words, not only from comments under your post, but from your DMs as well. So we know that especially for publishers, or government officials, it's always a tricky balance to strike. But at the same time, no one wants to come to your, no one thinks that the comment section should just be free for people to be abusive, to harass, or your DMs to be a place like that as well. So you can find this in your settings. And of course, it includes emojis too, which is great, as we've seen how emojis can be used to instigate harm or attacks as well. So make sure to please check out Hidden Words as well if you're moderating your own account or even an organizational account. And before we break, I really wanted to promote this account a little. It's called @creators, and it's by Instagram and for our community. It's loaded with tips and tricks from the very basic to the more advanced to FAQs about many of the questions you might have about Instagram. We always get questions about what day should I post? Does the algorithm favor this over that, and so on. I highly recommend you check this out. Like our Instagram CEO, Adam Mosseri, recently did a post about the algorithm. So again, I just think that this is a great account where you can adopt some of the best practices being talked about for your own needs. And this is where you'll find a lot of a summary of all the best practices that I mentioned. Don't be swayed by the fact that it says politics at the end. It's for everyone. It's for NGOs, it's for political figures, it's for government, it's for IGOs, it's for nonprofits. So please don't let that dissuade you, but it's about.instagram.com/politics. If there's anything that you need to walk away, if I've spoken too fast, please refer to this URL here and you will get a download of PDFs from guides to limits to reels, anything you need to know about the platform, you'll find it there. And that is all I think we have time for today. And hopefully you found that quite useful. And hopefully you'll also join us tomorrow for Andre. So I don't know.
Please join tomorrow.
Yes, Michaela, are we okay here? We kind of went through things really quickly, but we'll be back tomorrow. And this is recorded. So you guys can all watch this.
Thank you for today. Thank you, Sharon. Talk tomorrow, same time.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll talk about advertisement and paid content then. Have a great day and evening.
Have a great rest of, yep. Bye, child.